Hello, listeners. This is The Dating Game, and I, Callista Colbert, will be your host. This podcast series is devoted to exploring the game that is dating in your 20s. Through this podcast, we hope that listeners gain a better sense of the current state of dating culture among Gen Z and millennials, and hopefully aid in your own dating ventures. Happy listening. According to Pew Research, nearly half of all Americans say that dating is harder today than it was 10 years ago. In this episode, I will be interviewing Anna Nardelli and Carly Layton, two currently single 20-somethings, on their experiences dating in their 20s in the age where technology is king. This interview will hopefully shed some light on the reasonings as to why dating is so much harder in 2022 than 2012. We will be discussing dating apps, mental health's effects on relationships, the differences between dating men and women, where to find your next date, and the culture of dating in college. All of these topics are prevalent in today's dating culture, as it has been ever evolving, especially in a post-COVID society. Dating is a major part of the lives of most 20-year-olds and has had a large impact on their lives, as these are such important developmental years. While many people may feel alone in their struggles, I hope that this interview makes dating less daunting. Hello, ladies. Okay, so for my first question, in October of 2019, Pew conducted a survey to understand Americans' attitudes towards romantic relationships. Most daters told Pew that their romantic lives weren't going well, and 3/4 of respondents said that it was difficult to find people to date. Would you agree with these findings?
Absolutely.
Yes, I would.
Care to elaborate at all?
I feel like in 2019, right? I was 20 years old. So meeting people in college was really difficult because I was always surrounded by athletes and everything like that. So I never really had a pool to pick from, I guess. And then the whole online dating thing too is so hard. I feel like we use it, but it's not really that successful in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime I've ever tried to use dating apps, I never really actually meet anyone off of them. It just kind of becomes you're talking with someone for a day and then you get bored and you stop.
Yeah. I feel like meeting people online is hard because you don't have that first face-to-face interaction, and you're and even talking to people online, you talk to them for so long, a few weeks, and you're just communicating via the app or texting and stuff, and then you meet them in person and it's so awkward.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same at all, and you think it'd be easier, but it's really not.
No, because I feel you imagine what they're going to be in person and they don't meet your expectations.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You have this whole fantasy in your head of what all these expectations, what they're going to really look like, what they're going to sound like, what they're going to act like, and then you get there and it's not at all what you were thinking.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So do you find this with all dating apps, or do you have a favorite one if you had to pick?
If I had to pick, I feel Hinge would be a little bit more intimate and serious, and then Tinder I feel is more of a hookup culture kind of thing. I think Hinge is a little bit more serious, and if you are looking for a relationship, because you fill out all these prompts and you fill out these questions and you can say your preferences, I'm looking for a relationship, I'm not looking for one. You can match with people who have similar interests and preferences as you. Okay. So I feel that one's a little bit more.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've only ever used Tinder, so I don't know a lot about Hinge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel most people, a lot of people really use Tinder or Hinge for the most part.
Yeah.
But I don't know that many people our age that are using Hinge. But I guess that's also probably because not as many of us are.
I feel in college a lot of people use Tinder.
Yeah. Agreed. Because when I was in college, I used a lot of Tinder, and then it wasn't until I got a little bit older where I started to use Hinge. And I feel like it's for, like, when I am swiping through, I don't really see a lot of people that are younger. I see a lot of people that are, like, my age and then to, like, 30. Like, I see that age range.
I've seen Bumble work, though. My friend Anna met her boyfriend on Bumble, and she really liked it. But I haven't, other than that, I don't know many people on that site.
I don't really have much experience with Bumble, so
I don't know anyone that's on Bumble.
So what would make you swipe on someone for any of these dating sites? Like, what would be your, like, preferences for a site?
So on Tinder, I feel like I look for something that's not like a super awful bio, like no fish.
Oh, yeah. Fish.
Oh,
Fish is so bad.
The fish, the hunting.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
like
God.
slightly
Like a
attractive.
dead animal.
Yeah.
And like within a couple of years of my age as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to look at their bios, and like, I know for Hinge, like there's a bunch of different like prompts you can read and answer and whatnot. So I think those are kind of cool because they're a little bit more like outside the box. I guess it's like, you know, some prompts are like, what's your most irrational fear? Or it's like, you should not go out with me if you're like whatever. And so like I look for like funny things like that, or like fun like outgoing pictures or preferences that are like very similar to mine, like whether it's like wanting to have children, or if you drink socially, if you smoke, or if you know are like looking for a relationship, like those kinds of things I look for too.
I feel like Hinge is more personal.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And Tinder is more like you're looking for someone that you're attracted to.
I
Yeah.
feel like people use Tinder like as a game too.
No, yeah,
People
because my
just
friends will put it up on the
download it
TV
and
and,
just have
they'll
fun
scroll
with
through
it.
together and
Like it's not really a dating app.
No,
It's
it's
a
more, it's like
game.
hookup. It's it's like a game or like a hookup culture kind of thing.
Yeah. So do you find that dating apps affect your mental health at all?
I would say not really. I mean, if anything, it feels nice when you see all the people that swipe right
Yeah,
now.
agreed. I
Yeah.
feel like it doesn't really affect my mental health in a way, because like I'm not really like comparing myself to anyone else, because it's just me. Like it's
Yeah.
me, and I'm looking at other people. So I feel like it's not, you know, like hindering my mental health as much, but like it becomes kind of like, I don't know if this is weird, but like it becomes kind of like an obsession. Like I'll
Yeah,
find
I
myself
can see
like
that.
sitting in bed and I'm just like swiping through, or like I'll be like in class and I'll just like go on it, or I'll see a notification and it becomes like something that I'm like always looking at.
Yeah, it's like as soon as I open it up, I'm like looking for the perfect person for me, and like I'm not gonna find it on Tinder, but I'm
Yeah.
But
convinced
you
that I
have
will.
exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of like just another social media app at that point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like there are more social media apps that affect my mental health, but I think that dating apps like Hinge or Tinder or stuff like that don't really.
They're just addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where, if you're not going to be looking on dating apps, where would the best place to find a potential date be?
I don't know.
So I always meet people at like parties or at bars, and I feel like that's not a great place to meet people because it's just hookups.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I meet a lot of people at bars and stuff, but I don't think that it's really like I haven't been successful meeting people at bars, I feel like. Because like everyone's just like, oh, what's your Snapchat? Like you're really hot. And
Yeah.
it's like not intimate. Like there's no like, it's like dating apps in real life. It's like you look at someone and you're like, oh, okay, like they're cool. Or like you're in a dark basement dancing and then this guy comes up to you or whatever and they're like trying to dance on you and you're like,
Yeah, like the odds are low that you're gonna find like a long-term
Yeah.
relationship from it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like my intentions also when I'm going out like aren't to find someone. Like when I'm going out with my friends, I'm going out to like dance and have fun and drink and do whatever. Like I'm not like searching for someone.
Yeah, so if you meet someone there you're not like looking to
exactly.
make them your boyfriend. You're
Exactly.
looking to just have a fun night.
Yeah, agreed.
Would you guys, I know that like Johnny Max has speed dating. Have you guys ever tried something like that? Or would you ever try something like that?
I don't know. I know that Johnny Max has that, but I've never been to it. I've seen like things on TV about like, speed dating and stuff, and it looks interesting. I don't know if I would necessarily like that, but I would be open to trying it.
I've never specifically speed dated, but I did do sorority speed dating, and it was very, very stressful.
Really?
When you're trying to find your big or your little, because you only get about 30 seconds to talk to someone, and then you don't remember anything that you talked about with that person. So it's hard to make a connection, because by the time I was done with that, I had gone through about 30 girls that I was talking to, and I had one word written down about each of them, and then I had to pick which one I was my favorite.
Yeah.
And rank them all.
Yeah.
So it's for me, I have to actually sit down and have a real conversation with someone. I can't just speak to you for 30 seconds and be like, oh yeah, I really like you.
Yeah.
So.
But that's also very similar to dating apps as a whole.
Yes.
Really, for the most part, you're looking at a profile for, at least on Tinder and some other apps, you're looking at it for maybe 10 seconds, not even, and you're just swiping immediately.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Past judgment.
Yeah, it's totally mindless.
Just a photo, maybe a bio, maybe you click on the profile and went a little bit farther. But I feel like it's very similar to that. A couple of my friends went, and they had a lot of fun, but they didn't do it to go find people to date. They just wanted to meet
have a
people
fun
in general,
time,
to
talk
have a
to
fun
people.
time. While sexual attraction is still important, Helen Fisher, the chief scientist advisor to the dating site Match.com, said that surveys that were done in 2021 rated emotional maturity more than even honesty and communication number one when it came to selecting a partner. Would you agree with these findings?
I think that emotional maturity plays a huge role in finding someone, but recently I met someone on Hinge, and their profile seemed their pictures were obviously the best pictures of them, and I was like, oh, this kid's kind of cute, and I talked to him, and he was super, super nice, but his emotional maturity level was not where I'd expect it to be for his age, and it didn't match mine. And although and then when I ended up meeting him, he wasn't what I thought he looked like either. So that also played a huge part in it too. But I think I was turned off mostly because he was kind of emotionally not, and just intellectually where I thought I was either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you want to be on the same page with the person that you're dating, because you have to rely on them at least to support you a little bit, or to support you emotionally.
Yeah.
And if they're out here acting like they're 16 years old and you're a grown person and you're trying to find someone to be with forever, it's not gonna work out for you.
Yeah.
In your 20s though, wouldn't you find that it's very difficult to find somebody with
Yes, especially in college.
Especially
in college, because people are, not all people are even moved out of their childhood home in college. So it's some people are still being really babied, some people are moved all the way across the country, some people are very much still in the high school kind of mentality, and others are basically moving on and getting a full-time job. So it's hard.
It's far and few between you find people in this age range where they're emotionally stable.
Yeah.
Because I know for myself, I'm not emotionally stable all the time, consistently.
I don't think anybody is, truthfully.
Yeah.
But you want to find somebody that's at least
similar,
somewhat
on a similar page.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to graduate within a year, and then I'm going to get a job. And I wouldn't want to be with someone that's maybe a year younger than me that has maybe 2 or 3 more years in school and is in a totally different place in their life.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's hard. And people mature at so many different ages and experiences and stuff. And I wouldn't feel comfortable dating someone a few years younger than me, because they're at a completely different part of their life. And I don't want to take away anything from that part of their life or that time, because when I was in college, the first 2 years of college, I went wild, and I thought I wanted to be in a relationship, but I was not ready to be in one at all. I needed to experience going out, partying, having fun, whatever. And then and if I were to date someone who was that young and in that part of their life, I would never be able to have a good relationship, like a stable relationship with someone like that.
Yeah, and
'Cause
I
we're
will
not on the
say,
same
like,
page.
looking at myself a year ago, 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
was totally like a different person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard, like, trying to be with someone that's a couple years younger than you that might be in a totally
Yeah.
different
Or even
mindset as
a
you.
few years older than you
Or
too. It's
older,
hard because
yeah.
some people are like, I want to get married within a year and have kids and blah blah blah, and you're like,
Yeah, I'm like, I need to
not
figure
even-
out my whole life
exactly, like
first.
I'm not even thinking about that yet, you know.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Yeah. As someone who was in a like long-term relationship for most of college, I'm glad that we broke up so that I could experience all of this stuff. Because
Yeah.
with COVID, like I didn't really get that chance
That's
anyway. But I'm glad that I've had the chance now. to
Yeah.
do all of that.
And I think it's important because, like, you know, going out, drinking, hooking up with other people, like, and flirting with people, like, you experience so many different kinds of people. You get that out of your system. Like, I think it's important. Like, I mean, kudos to people who are in relationships all throughout college and are high school sweethearts or whatever. Like, that's amazing. But I also think it's important for someone to experience different people because you can't just, like, be with someone your whole entire life and you have nothing to compare it to, or like you have nothing to, you know.
Yeah, there's always that questioning of did I make the right choice?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think it's good to play the field and to really
100%.
figure out what you want.
100%. Yeah.
Because honestly, like, just looking at the people that I've like been involved with, it's crazy how different like being with one person can be as to being with a different.
Yeah.
And if I only ever was in a relationship with one person, I wouldn't know. Like, how would you know? You don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did you guys date in high school at all?
I did not.
I think I was in 2 short-term relationships. They only lasted like a few months, probably. They weren't serious. They weren't really that serious.
Do you think that that affected your opinions on relationships
Yes.
later in life, like going forward?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it did because I didn't really like have anything to base dating, relationships, anything off of from high school. So I kind of got to college and a lot of people had already had their first relationship.
Yeah.
Already. They had had their first love and I hadn't. So
I think that's what scares me too, is that like in high school, like a lot of my friends were in relationships in high school and they like experienced, you know, long-term relationships, whatever, and they experienced heartbreak. They experienced like, you know, really, really loving someone and like being in a relationship. And I still to this day have not experienced like true heartbreak. And I have been in relationships, but I haven't really been so emotionally involved with someone where like I would be distraught if we had broken up. You know what I mean? And that scares me the most because I feel like I haven't experienced that, so I'm going to eventually, and like that scares me that I, you know.
yeah, like I feel like I'm behind almost.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I haven't had that kind of relationship. I've never actually officially been someone's girlfriend. So
As someone who has experienced that heartbreak, it is not fun.
No.
And I'm glad I got it over with.
Yeah.
now And not later in life.
Mhm.
Have,
yeah,
like,
'cause I feel like that's such a setback.
yeah, it's such a setback. Like, had I been 35 and like already married and like a divorce was the first heartbreak, I don't know what I would do. Like,
It's
Yeah.
so high stakes at that
Yeah.
point.
like to be so young and having that heartbreak was just, I feel like it was better than
Yeah, because now you
waiting
know
even
how to
farther.
get, you know that you can get
And
through
I know
that.
having it in high school is fine. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's the same because you're still not at that emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
so you're not, like, you're experiencing it, but it's a different kind of experience.
Yeah.
So did COVID impact your dating lives at all?
Not really. I mean, yeah, not really. I wasn't really involved with anyone before, during, or like
Yeah,
whatever,
I
so it didn't really hinder anything.
I didn't have much of a dating life before COVID started, so it just kind of continued.
I mean, I feel like it affected our communication skills a little bit just because we were locked up for so long that we like kind of forgot how to like talk to people.
Yeah.
But I mean, it didn't really affect like any actual relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could have like delayed the time in which I could have met people, because I didn't really start meeting people that I could have been in relationships with until about my junior year, because we spent most of our sophomore year in lockdown.
Indoors, yeah.
Yeah,
At home. Away
yeah.
from everyone.
So I guess it might have just taken a year of college away from me, but that's everything. That's not just dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So Carly, as the only one who has dated women, what would you say are the differences between dating men and women, and like just the whole aspect of that?
Well, dating women is a lot more emotional than it is anything else, like physical, everything. Like it's a lot more like emotionally and mentally like taxing than it is like dating men, because I mean my experience with boys is that like they are very immature and they were worried about like different things, like, you know, when I was like dating girls, everything was like so much more emotional. Like when I was dating someone a few years ago, we dated for like quite a while, like probably like 6 or 7 months, which was my longest relationship and most serious relationship. It kind of became like we were best friends, and then it just quickly moved forward. Like I feel like when you're dating guys, like it kind of moves slowly, and with girls, like everything moves like 10 times faster. Like, because they get so emotionally involved, like emotionally invested so much quicker. You know, and I think that dating girls, I think is, in my opinion, easier just because I'm also a girl. So I know what I like. I know how I am emotionally. So I try and like, I think I can be really like empathetic towards another girl. And it's hard to be that way towards a boy because I don't know how they're feeling. And boys are like not good at expressing their emotions and talking about their feelings and stuff. And girls are like a lot more in tune with that part of themselves.
So like it's almost like an elevated best friend sort of situation.
Yeah, because you become best friends with this person. They're someone that you talk to every single day. You're a little bit more open to things because they're the same as you. Like they're another girl, so you can talk about more like personal things right off the bat because you feel more comfortable around them. And with guys, you like, I know this is silly, but you like hide things from them, like your like insecurities, or you know, like you're farting and burping and like your period and stuff. But when you talk to girls, it's like they have all that. They like are very similar to that. So it's not like you're like trying to like hide things or be like insecure around them.
Yeah, you're skipping like 5 steps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you skip a lot when you're like with girls, in my opinion.
So what would you guys say are your biggest red flags in dating?
Like in someone else?
Yeah, in someone else. Or in yourself if you have them. If you'd like to share.
I'm a walking I don't know. Someone who, a big red flag is for me is someone who is like really attached to like their like mom, or someone who is like a total like someone who doesn't have tough skin. Like if someone who just like melts and like isn't able to like hold their own, or you know, someone who is like so like babyish, or like you have to like baby them. I do not like that. I think that is a red flag.
Yeah, I can see that. That's really bad.
I feel like for me, it's like if they don't match or like surpass the energy that you have for them, like if they're kind of treating you like an option.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like it just makes me feel like so, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it.
It.
Makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I felt that way in my last relationship, that was when we broke up. Like immediately.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I completely understand that. That's
Yeah, like as soon
the
as
biggest red flag.
they start making you like paranoid that there's another person, they
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
responding like as fast as they would have or something like that. I totally lose interest.
Mhm.
Because I don't want to be someone's option. You know?
Yeah, I want to be someone's first choice, not an option.
Yeah.
So what are your red flags? You guys have any?
I would say my red flag is that I wouldn't say I become obsessive, but I'm very quick to be like emotionally invested in someone.
Mm-hmm.
And like I will believe someone wholeheartedly. Like if you tell me that you're gonna do this with me or you want to do this, I will believe you and I will wholeheartedly like invest myself into that, and I am very quick to be like, okay, I'm talking to this person, this is the only person I'm talking to. And even like, because true, like when you're dating someone or you're talking to someone, you have the ability to also talk to other people. Like until someone makes it like official and they're like exclusive, like you still can talk to other people. And I feel like my thing is that like I close off everything else and I only focus on one thing, and I'll become so emotionally invested like too quickly or whatnot, and then that person isn't like reciprocating, and then I get hurt because I'm too.
That's not like a red flag though for other people. I feel like that's more of a red flag for of yourself. For
Yeah,
yourself.
I guess that's true.
Like, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
To be invested in one person. I mean, if it works out, then that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely does suck when it
Yeah.
doesn't. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I would say that my red flag is like I overthink a lot, and then I kind of will attribute things that somebody didn't do like to them, even though like just because I thought that maybe I was perceiving it in a certain way that
You have like a fantasy of them before like
it's
it
like
even happens.
it's like if I say they're taking a long time to respond, I'll be like, oh my god, he's talking to someone else, like he doesn't like me that much, blah 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 blah, and then he responds and I'm like, oh my god, wait, he does like me.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like jump from place to place to place, and I think way too much about it, and I think that really affects my ability to like I don't like have a healthy relationship.
Well, I think it's also hard because you've never been
I've never
in a
been in
relationship,
one,
so
so it's
you
like, I
have
don't
that
know.
fear that they're talking to somebody else so much more than somebody that is in a
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, because like there's never been a time when someone's been like, I only want to talk to
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Which definitely would make me nervous that
Yeah.
they were talking to somebody else. For
Yeah.
sure. I don't know what my biggest red flag would be. Probably, I don't even know. I can't think.
I'm also late all the time. That's a big
Yeah,
red
that's
flag.
me. I'm late to everything. I'll be late to my own
Yeah.
funeral.
I'm like, oh, I'll be there at 7.
Never.
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
Usually I'm not that bad, but I'll 7, maybe 7:30 would be the latest.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a red flag. I'm controlling. I feel
Okay.
like in some, like I'm not like overbearing, but like when it comes to certain things, I can be a little controlling because I don't like other people doing things. Like I want to do it and because like I know if I do it, I know it'll be done like the way that I want it to, or I know it'll actually get done. Like I don't like having to rely on other people to do things. So I feel like I can get kind of like controlling and aggressive because I get nervous about like having to rely on other people. So like I will become aggressive or like controlling with certain situations.
I mean, that makes sense though.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that. I feel like I do that sometimes.
Okay. What do you guys believe would make dating easier for you? How could guys or girls or whomever make dating a little bit easier for you?
I feel like a lot of time I just end up in the talking stage for like a very long time, and like nothing ever happens. Like we never actually go out on a date and like see each other. It's like, hey, come over.
Yeah.
And then I go over and like nothing really comes of it.
No
you know?
actual dates.
No actual
like,
dates,
going
because
out to dinner.
there's always like the hint or like the promise of like, yeah, we're gonna hang out sometime, and then like it just never happens. So I feel like I need to be better about actually being like, hey, let's go do something. And like if guys could like actually make that happen,
Yeah.
themselves and like not make me basically beg them to take me out.
Yeah.
You don't want to be with somebody that
Yeah, like you don't want
makes
to be
you
with
beg.
somebody that makes you beg, but still, I feel like I'm begging if I just say, hey, let's hang out, because I don't know, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like that's begging though. Just saying, hey, let's hang out.
I know, but it feels like
I get that.
a big, like, I feel very vulnerable doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of the times, like, I know with guys, like, I'll always like wait for them to kind of make the
Yeah.
first move,
Yeah.
because it's intimidating for a girl to make the first move. But then like when I've gone, or like I've talked to girls and stuff like that, it kind of can get like a little like, I wouldn't say awkward, but we'll talk and talk and talk, and then it's kind of just like, okay, well, who's gonna be like, oh, like let's go out, or
Yeah, it's a
let's
little
like
bit
go
more-
out on a date, like it, because you always like are waiting for the other person. But I feel like it would make things easier if people were just like very like upfront and like upfront about what they wanted, what their intentions were, you know, what they're looking for, like things like that, because I don't want to waste my time on someone who doesn't have the same intentions as me. Like, I want to be in a relationship. Like, I want to find a significant other. And if that's not what you're looking for, then don't waste my time.
Yeah, because I will say I've been talking to this guy for almost a month now, and we still haven't had that conversation of like, what are you looking for?
Yeah. And I think that's important. I think that's
Yeah.
because, I mean, the older you get, like, you're not just gonna like want to like be in these talking stages with people forever. Like, you have intentions. Like, if you are looking for a relationship, then you should be upfront about that. And I feel like we neglect to kind of like have that conversation with people because we're scared of their answer. You know what I mean? So we just like won't ask it. And I think that's like a big problem too, because we're, you know, like, what's the point of dating or going out with someone or hanging out with someone, talking to someone, if all they want to do is just hook up? Like, and that's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, like I feel like that's what we've both been doing. Like we've both just been avoiding that question because there's that fear
Mm-hmm.
that like one of us is just gonna say like, no, I just want to hook up with you. Like I don't actually want to date you.
Yeah.
So we're just both not saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
it's
that-
important though to have that ultimatum. Like I know that with my last relationship, because when we met, it was the middle of the summer during COVID, and like everybody was here still, like, but everybody was going back to school that August or whatever. So we were talking and we were hanging out, we were going out, and I basically had an ultimatum for him. I was like, I am not talking to you if you're gonna go to school, and like unless we make this official, like this is over.
Yeah.
Basically. And like it's important to have a conversation like that because you're never gonna get anywhere if somebody doesn't make that move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
At least someone has to do it.
Yeah.
And if you get a no, then it wasn't worth it. Like,
Yeah, and I think it's important to also like be like again back onto like emotional maturity, like if you, and even like mental like stability and mental maturity, like if you're not like mentally stable, like not everyone's always mentally stable, and
No.
you know, we all like struggle with things like that. But like also I think it's like really hard to date someone or be in a relationship with someone who doesn't have a handle on their mental state. Like someone who is struggling, it can really affect not only them, but like other people too. Like someone who is struggling with their mental health, like I feel bad and I want to help them, but that also really affects being in a relationship because, you know, like you're always scared that, you know, this person, like you upset them or you have to like walk on eggshells around them, and like that's not like fair. So I think that like your mental health also plays a huge role in your relationships and dating and everything in general like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's important. Well, I feel like it's different if you're getting into a relationship with someone that's struggling mentally already versus if you're already dating someone and they start struggling.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, but I have actually been thinking about this recently. If you're getting into a relationship with someone who is struggling mentally, I feel like not to be mean, but like that's kind of a red flag. Like,
Yeah.
No, yeah. They shouldn't be trying to enter a
They shouldn't be
relationship.
looking to basically dump all of their trauma on you.
exactly. And
Struggles
like
with
I have my own stuff. Like I have my own things that I'm working through and doing, and like I don't want to have to take on someone else's. Like it's different, like you said, if you're like in a relationship and you guys have been dating and blah blah blah, and then something traumatic happens, like that's different. But if you're like starting out a relationship and it's already like this like huge like trauma dumper, or it's like someone who's struggling mentally, like they're having all these really really high highs and then all these really low lows, and it affects your mental health, like that's a huge red flag. So I think it's important for people to be in tune with their mental health and have a hold on that, like go to therapy or do like, you know, like get a hold on that before you jump into a relationship and think that you're ready to be in a relationship.
Yeah, because you want to build a strong foundation to that
Exactly.
relationship if you want it to last a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like even those like horrifically horrible trauma situations where somebody does have a mental health situation, if you are in a long-term relationship, if it's too much, it's definitely fair to leave the relationship.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
100%, even if it's not like the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah. But I think that people should be mature enough to make that decision. Like people need to like be self-aware. And I think that's a huge thing too, being self-aware, like knowing your mind, your body, your emotions, everything, and being able to like put your foot down and be like, you know what, I can't handle this. I need to not, you know.
Well, yeah, a lot of people use it as an escape too, though, which is probably why a lot of them get into these relationships, because they're using it as like, oh, this person will like me, they'll love me.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll take away from my issues.
Yeah, and they
it'll make
kind
me feel
of use
better.
it. Yeah, they use other people to like distract them from what's
Rather
actually.
than actually
Yeah,
going
but you
to
still have to
therapy or
work through
something.
your own issues yourself.
Yeah.
You can't just expect someone to fix it for you.
Exactly.
So, to sum it all up, are you guys currently looking for relationships, or are you happily single?
I personally hate being single. It's been a very long time and I'm over it, and I am looking for a relationship. Like I want to be in a relationship. As much as I like say I don't want to, or say like I like kind of like deflect, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to, like I'm fine being single, like I don't need this, blah blah blah. Like that's like, in like at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want to be in a relationship. So
Yeah, I feel like I kind of go back and forth because I've been really busy lately with school, but also like then I sit down and I'm just sitting in my house with my friends and I'm like, well, this is great, but like I kind of wish I had somebody, you know? Yeah. So my life is going to be crazy within the next few years. I'm going to be getting a job. I'm going to be moving probably elsewhere, but it would be nice to have someone in the meantime. Just something.
yeah, like I'm willing to, because like I mean my life is also extremely busy and I have a lot going on, but like I'm willing to make sacrifices, and I'm willing to like put effort into like making something work with someone.
Yeah,
like
I
as
agree
long as
with
they're
that.
willing to make like put in the effort too, like I'm willing to also do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, I know that things might not work out because I'm not going to be probably in this area forever, but you never know. Maybe I'll meet someone that wants to also move to a city with me.
Yeah,
You never know.
yeah, exactly. You
Always on
never
the
know.
lookout.
Yeah,
Just waiting to see if maybe someone comes along that I like actually really want to
yeah, pursue.
pursue. Yeah.
Well, they say it always hits you when you're not looking for it. So
Oh.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why I'm single.
maybe that's it. Maybe you're looking too hard.
yeah, maybe.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much.
You're
Those are all of my
welcome.
questions. And that's it.
Cool.
And thank you for listening. Next week, I'll be discussing these topics with a certified psychologist who will hopefully be able to break down dating culture from a psychological perspective and maybe give some advice on how to play the game effectively. See you next week.